That's right.
Yeah, then I'm a nay.
Yeah, speaking of the mic.
Why do you look at me when you say that?
I'll turn it
Feeling
on.
harassed.
Are we good?
Quitting
Okay.
the job.
I'm going to call the meeting to order. The first thing that we need to do is approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Jill and Curtis moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, we need to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Sean and Ryan Schreibogel. Moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, recognitions.
Same thing. I talk about it every year at this time of the year. When I was a teacher, you get to the end of the school year, you go away, and then, get refreshed again. If you're a coach, you did some coaching things, and then you come back in August and school's ready to roll. I had no idea the amount of work that takes place during the summertime. So kudos to the directors, central office, secretaries, principals, everybody, counselors who came in early to be up and ready. We're ready to roll. And so that's just, you think it's like those, what was that one? Make shoes. There's the cobbler's shoes they make overnight. It's
Just do it.
magically show up, So the work, there's a lot of hard work that goes into getting ready for school, and we're there. And we're there. That's it.
All right, let's move to financials. Mike.
Okay, on page 2, I'll point out in the middle, High Plains Co-op, our first payment to them, $102,098.67. And then Huddle, it's a sports package program, $14,750. And then on page 4, Reading Horizons, there's some new curriculum stuff, $68,338.
And that was the ESSER 3 money used for that.
And then I guess page 5 at the top, train, the first rental on the chiller, $18,983.
And we anticipate getting pretty much all that back because that goes underneath the insurance claim. So we'll pay
Yep.
it 2 more. It'll be $13,000 over the next 2 months. Each month will be $13,000, but we'll turn all that in and it's open and they'll pay us back.
We are-
Did at the parent meeting.
Good, good.
We did get the money for that $18,000 already, that first initial payment. So this month warrants $518,736.53. And then page 9, our cash balances are where we expect them to be this time of year. If you look at Fund 41, it is showing negative $72,000, but that's the ESSER money, and so we'll get that money from the feds, and we can do that since it's federal money.
One of these days.
And then fund expense summary, we're just barely starting the budget year, so those are all still good also.
Nicely done.
And then behind that's the high school, middle school reports. So if you have any questions.
If there are no questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the financials at $518,736.53.
So moved.
Second.
Ryan, Ruda, and Jill. Moved and seconded to approve the financials. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, no public patron concerns. Administrative reports and superintendent.
All righty, I've got a couple of 5 things to talk to you about. You have a handout, rendition of a concession stand. I'm going to hold that till last because I don't want to suck the air out of the room. I want to talk about other things first. But we will talk about this during this portion of the board meeting. Mike and I, as per how we do things, spend the summer, closing out and then building the new budget. And then, I don't know for how many years we've done this, but I know I've done it ever since I've been a superintendent. Go get a meeting with the KSCE financial people. Just basically review your budget for you. Mike does an excellent job. Early August, we had the meeting with Craig Nienswander. He's the deputy commissioner on the finance side. And it's all clean. It's clean, 0 adjustments. Well done. So nicely done, Mike. For a while now, I'm talking about licensing testing now. This is a piece of big news. For a while now, we've been working with the KSDE to see about, is there a way for the individual teachers who might be having difficulty getting past the praxis test, is there a different way of doing this, going about this? And I spoke with Shane Carter. He was on my team back in the day when I was there, great guy. They are taking to the State Board of Education the proposal to put in performance assessments for teachers. Now, I don't want to tell you the wrong details of it, but it basically boils down to a person tries to take the test X amount of times, cannot pass it, then there might be a mechanism if the State Board approves this, to where through our own good works here and our evaluations and plans that we have with the individual teachers, that could count as a performance assessment, which would then allow them to get the full teaching license. It's a big deal. That's a big deal. That's going to the State Board and supposed to be in September. So we will be watching that to see what occurs. Start of the school year, been talking about that, ready to roll. New teachers tomorrow, everyone board and everybody else in the room. You're invited to lunch at 11:30 over at Wiley Elementary School. Fajitas, you might want to show up for fajitas. And an opportunity to put a name and a face with our new people, including the High Plains people. I think we have, a class of 15, Robin? Yeah, people. So feel free. We start tomorrow morning, bright and early, 8 o'clock. Come on in if you're available. All teachers report back on Wednesday. The professional learning taking place. The convocation is on Thursday. Be there, get a front row seat, so you can listen to Matt's usually tear-jerk speech. We laughed, we cried. It was Matt. And then he's going to keep it under 15 minutes this year, I hope. Then you're welcome to go to Golden Corral at 11:30 or 11:45 on Thursday. So all this culminates next Wednesday the 23rd. Students come back. We have a half-day student, and then we're going. School year's on its way. So now I want to go back to the rendition you have here. As per last month's meeting, we were talking through the different capital outlay major projects coming down the pike, and there was no motion, but it was by consensus, pursue the concession stand restroom. So I created or set up and had a meeting with Mammoth about this very thing and kind of talked through our wishes and desires, and this is kind of what they put together. Now, this doesn't, not kind of, is what they put together. This is not set in stone. It's drawn in pencil. Also, as you know, I had a lead from the board on another construction company, dialogued with them multiple times, and finally today he pulled the plug. Said he just doesn't have anybody local who can help. So now we've got this individual group here from Mammoth. Nothing set in stone by any means, but in the near future they'll be sending a formal proposal. Having looked at this already, I already told them two things. We need more windows in the concession stand, and they need to be taller. We don't want you have to be on our knees to make orders, right, Mr. Jones? So how you look at this thing, it's obviously facing from the football field, oriented the same way as it is as we currently have our concession stand. They've moved the men's bathroom to the east side, and the women's bathroom is fleshed out on the west side. What you don't really see, or you can't really tell, if you see these vertical lines from the ticket booth and all the way over, that represents an awning. And so this whole thing will be under a major roofing system to allow people to get in and out of the elements or out of the heat or whatever if they want to sit back there. And we'll drop in tables if need be. So this is day one of looking at a plan. I've already told them those two things that need to be adjusted. Of course, with any construction, count on 10% overage on stuff and on time. My goal still is to, if we could break ground, hopefully we win the state championship in football this year, and as soon as we're finished playing at home, break ground. And so that we're able to utilize the space come spring. Maybe that's the plan. They think it can be done. They said that's, winter, matters on winter as well. So questions, comments, concerns? I'm sure I'll be in dialogue with them in the next.
Concession stand's too small. It already takes 3 hours, takes 2 quarters to get a bag of popcorn and a Coke.
So if we were to extend it to the left,
Please.
the whole thing to the left.
I don't know, just get it utilized better. 'Cause you got 4 lines
Yeah, right.
and
right.
2 people running the lines.
Yeah, the concession stand dimensions are like 25.5 feet by less than 9 feet wide, and there's counters on both sides.
Yeah.
If you've been a parent that's helped your kid run that concession stand, that doesn't seem very much bigger than what's there now, and that's way too small. You get 4 people in there and it's
Yeah, you just run into each other.
That's what you
overcrowded.
do.
Cause you got refrigerators in there and all that stuff. It needs to be, the concession stand part needs to be
Gotcha.
substantially bigger than that.
Needs to be where you can go in one way and order and kind of mingle down the line and
Well,
pay as you leave.
And that originally was my thoughts on this thing, but come to find out, new energy regulations, if people go inside, you have to give HVAC to it.
No, no need to get an
On
H.
the front.
You just in the concession part.
Yeah, I mean, if you order in one spot and you move down, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you just got to get it organized.
But you're not talking about walking into
Not
the
walking
building.
in, no.
Okay, not walking in the building, because that's where, I thought, whoa, wait a second, we don't want to do that.
No.
But, okay. Like I said, this is just for you to look at one time. We're not taking a motion on it or anything.
I like the awnings.
Yeah, you could pull it to the
But-
south there, make it wider, and not really think about having any kind of tables right sitting there in front, but you know, maybe a few people underneath the awning
14
and
kids sitting
pull
on
it out
tables.
6 feet, maybe, I don't know.
Right, right. I mean, we could stretch west and, south and west.
Yeah.
We
yeah.
could. And just, the more square footage you put in is, just dollars. That's all it is to.
Take
How many
toilets out of the women's restroom.
toilets are in the women's
Oh,
restroom
good
right
Lord,
now?
no,
Just two?
don't do that.
How many in the women's restroom right now?
There's 3.
We think there's
But
3.
only 2 work. Is that right?
One doesn't have a lid.
So yeah, maybe we could pull it all the way to the west and add one more, maybe.
Right. Because there's that open space between the
Yeah.
door and the ticket booth. Yeah.
Going from 3 to 4 isn't gonna solve that problem very well.
Do they make female urinals?
They do in Europe. I've seen them.
We want to try that out or not?
Yeah, let's try that out.
Add a couple more toilets, maybe?
Slow down, Matt.
Just thinking outside the box.
Yeah, thanks.
And you got to make the motion to
We
pay the
don't want a
board as well?
box either.
All right, so give me good feedback at this point. Good. Expand, want more, more facilities. Say it that way.
Just needs to be bigger.
Okay. Anything else?
What's the footprint of the current building? Anybody know?
It looks, well, it is this, except for where the sink is to the women's. That's pretty much it. It's square. Now, the way the bathrooms are they run different. They run parallel to the concession. So what now, instead of, it says,
They're long and skinny.
yeah, right. So you go to, men's is first, then the women's. And then you go in the west door.
So it's all under that same roof still, basically.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's utilizing the current infrastructure, which is a good thing. There's always going to be some work, that needs to be done. but-
So this is adding on to existing, or is this pulverizing it into dust and starting over?
Well, it's adjusting indoors, the inside. It's
Just
not,
No.
adding the sinks.
yeah,
basically,
it's
the
not
women's.
pulverizing and going to dust. It's utilizing the current infrastructure and the superstructure of
Well,
the
yeah.
walls.
Yeah, and the bathrooms now are like, they're totally different.
Yeah, and let's say that's load bearing, let's say back in there, well, there's ways of doing, they could fix it going perpendicular to how it currently is, how it currently sits.
How many windows do you have on the ticket booth? 2?
Yeah, there's only, I told them already, we need more. We need more.
Yeah.
And they need to be taller.
Yeah, that needs to be expanded there too, just for
I get a
flow.
crick in my neck ordering popcorn. Can I get a popcorn?
I think there's 3 windows now.
Where?
Yeah, at the concession stand?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. I think there's 3, Ryan, but, we need 4 or 5. Or one big one, not have windows, just have a pull down, like at the high school,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Then you could set up the thing where you go across.
Yeah, people just need to learn to set
But,
up.
yeah. You're saying to add more windows on the ticket booths there too? There's only one right now?
Yeah, we could, yeah,
Yeah.
easily, yeah.
Yeah,
I kinda like, over at your place, it's just kind of a big opening, with a,
Mhm.
you don't need a window per se. You can pull down a latch type thing where
Yeah.
it's,
It's a little tall. At the
Stall.
football game. Yeah, at the football game.
Yeah, you need to have two openings there, though. I mean, one, you need to be able to have two individuals in there that are working and
Oh, right.
taking tickets, cash, whatever.
Somebody eyeballing us as we
Wave and walk through.
Okay, anything else? I mean, obviously, this is first time you've seen this. I'll have it, I'm sure I'll get something back by the next time we're together. And we'll just keep moving down the path until we start, well, I'm assuming, well, they're gonna put together a rough proposal. But when I talk to them about these changes, that means that rough proposal will, go the way of the dodo or have to be adjusted, right? Exactly. So, all right. Final thing on mine, Matt, is Monday I have my other knee replacement surgery. So I'm gonna actually take the week off, so I'm not making decisions while on pain meds. Then I'll be working from Topeka for 2 weeks, but I'll be back and forth as much as I possibly can as soon as I can drive again. So I'll be the bionic man. I'll have both knees done at this point.
Superman.
Okay, I'll be Superman. That's it.
All right. We will move to buildings and grounds. Garrett. Okay. Transportation, Sam.
You talking about that tree? Hey, Garrett. Yeah. Is that a dead tree up there in the middle school? Right there by the entrance?
And Circle Drive?
No. Over there in the back by the gym. Evergreen tree?
Where Daniel parks his vehicle.
Yeah.
Oh, the back.
Yeah.
You know that we're gonna be cutting that down.
Okay.
When it cools off a little bit, it is too close, so it's hitting the brick and it burned that area up. Had too much rain. This year it's growing like a wildfire.
Yeah, that thing can go up like a Roman candle.
Okay.
I just wanted to come up and emphasize, this summer was kind of different because it is so much more difficult now, to hire drivers, even from 2 years ago. And teaching them to drive is the easy part. It's all the other hoops you gotta jump through. But we did, well, we got one qualified and licensed, the other one's taking her test on the 22nd. So hopefully within the first 10 days, we'll have 2 new drivers driving. We got cameras put in all the buses, and they were working yesterday, so that's been accomplished. Other than that, we're ready to go.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sam. All right, Monica, food service.
Nothing further.
Okay. Mr. Ackerman, technology. Okay. Well, I guess we'll move on to the principals.
Let's move to the principals.
Start with Amy.
She was jumping up.
I know, that's why I saw her out of the corner when she's ready to go.
Our enrollment has gone very well this year. We've only had a handful of families who needed to come in due to technical difficulties or needing assistance with the online enrollment. We're sitting at about 220 students for Wiley right now. We made phone calls last week to the returning students who hadn't enrolled, and we have all of them, but about 15. So we're hoping to get those coming this week. The building's looking great. We, of course, every summer have a few obstacles, but Garrett and his crew have done a nice job at tackling everything that needs to be done, and Rebecca and her crew were outstanding with the cleaning and getting everything taken care of. Our teachers are always very eager to get back into their classroom the day after they leave in May, and so they are already asking when they could come back in, and Rebecca knows that, so she typically starts at my building because of that, and I think before July 1st, she was emailing out saying, room's ready, you can come back. So they did an awesome job. It's clean, it's very, smells good, all the things. So she's done a great job, and we're really excited for our custodians because they got new vacuums. So we're thrilled about that. That's the little things. So everything's looking good.
And your PAT numbers are up.
And they're going to keep going up.
Parents as Teachers program, if you recall what that is, neonatal to age 5. And we have you think 7 families right now? Yeah, which is great. It adds other issues for Amy for long-term subs, but we're getting things covered. So,
All right, Randy.
I would just second what Amy had to say about Garrett's crew and also Rebecca's crew. Everything's, getting on its way, getting ready for families and kids to come back. I can see a lot of work being done out there, on some of the sprinkler system pieces and things like that, trying to get that ready. So we appreciate all of their hard work. We are also doing well with enrollment. I think we're about 20 kids from having everybody enrolled, and we haven't made our phone calls yet, so I know that Ms. Rivas will be making those tomorrow or Wednesday just to encourage them to get on and get that enrollment completed. Probably you've seen on Facebook, if you have Facebook, that the reveal cards are arriving, and so that is always really exciting for our kids as they check the mail every day until they get their card and they get to find their penny and scratch off and find who their kid is. Who their teacher is. So I think we're excited, we're ready to start, and the kids are ready to be back, so we're looking forward to it.
How many kids, Randy?
Well, I think if we have everybody that's on our list that has to enroll back, we'll be right around 210.
Good number. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Tyne. Tyler, you sending out reveal cards too for the middle school?
Yeah, I was thinking about the logistics of that. That'd be a lot of fun. Well, we'd have to get all of our schedules finalized in order to do that too. We had a little bit of a hiccup with Power School, our system information system, over the summer, and it was on their end. The rollover did not keep the schedules we had set, so that's why the middle school has taken a little extra time to get them out. So those of you with kids wondering, that's why. We're not being mean. It's just taking some extra time to get those fixed. We've had to go through them one by one, so that's what's going on there. Looking to report week. On August 22nd, we'll have our open house, 6 to 8. We will start. We'll do a brief opening in the gym. We'll see if we all fit. From 6 to 6:15, I want to give parents a chance to hear about the new MTSS reading interventions we're going to do at the middle school. All students are part of that, regardless of where they are in reading ability. They'll have some version of reading intervention or enrichment that fits their need. So that we'll kind of walk through what that looks like. If you've had an elementary kid in 363, it'll be similar to what you're used to, but just want a chance for families to hear about it. And then we'll have the usual find your classes, check your locker, and those kinds of things. And then next Thursday will be a field day for the kids. We tried that last year. That was pretty successful in helping us get some early year things taken care of, going through handbook policy, getting Chromebooks checked out, and then throw in some fun with it and some team building as well. So we'll be doing that as well. One thing we'll be adding this year, I always give our staff a weekly a calendar of the week. We're going to try to make a family version of that, put it on our social media. It'll include academic information, athletic activity information as well. Just try to keep all the information in one place where people can find it. Enrollment so far this year is right at 217, but I know we have some that are still not enrolled, so we're chasing a couple still. But excited to get going. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Jerry.
Yes.
I'm wearing a Texas shirt.
Texas?
It's orange. Apparently Texas owns orange now.
Another nasty gram from them today.
There's no Longhorn on this shirt.
Yeah, but it's orange.
They own orange too, apparently.
Yeah.
This color of orange?
They own
Any
all
orange,
all
apparently.
orange.
They do.
Fluorescent.
I'm not taking my shirt off. Nobody wants that. Thank you. We appreciate it. We're just gonna break a rule, I guess. I don't know.
I like it.
I invited Mrs. Johnson up here. I think when we're talking about numbers and getting back in roll, it blew me away when she brought in the statistics that we have as far as the number of kids at Holcomb High School that are taking college classes or some kind of college pathway. I'm going to let her talk about it because if I'll butcher it and it'll be wrong, and you'll have to correct me, and it'll just be easier for her to go anyway. So.
Okay. So we started working with Dawn Tucker at the college back in April. We hosted an early enrollment day last spring. It seems to help things flow a little bit easier in the fall if we have those counts and numbers in advance. And we had a large number of students take advantage of that, but of course there are still some that are enrolling right now. As of this morning, first thing, we have 84 of our more than 300 on our current enrollment list that are taking some form of dual credit through Garden City Community College. That total number of credits enrolled at 512 is the largest number I've seen in any semester that I have been the community college site coordinator.
So almost 30% of our students.
Yes.
Wow. That's good.
So we have 9 students that are enrolled in afternoon on-campus programs. That is the carpentry, automotive, manicuring, and for the first time, we have 1 student participating in the EMT, EMR classes on campus. We had to place him in the public section of that, but we're doing what we can to make sure he gets that opportunity. We have 14 current students enrolled in our beginning classes for the CNA pathway for this year. That again is the largest number I've had yet in 4 years that I've been doing the site coordination. We also work directly with Garden City Community College this year to utilize a technology grant that they received to set up a Zoom room in the high school. We actually have 2 of those. They've been working hard this summer to make sure all the technology is in place to be ready to go. We are filling an entire class roster of 24 Holcomb High School students for public speaking via Zoom. And we're super excited about that. The community college was flexible, and the instructor, in helping it fit into our schedule since we could fill a full roster. So, and we have overflow of another 8 students that are in an online section because we just didn't have enough seats. So excited to get that going. That'll be really neat to see that in action. We also will have a concurrent instructor for English 1. Mr. Miller will be teaching College English 1 and 2 this year. And that 22 enrollment number, those are all current seniors that will be taking that with him inside the school day. And then the last number there, 209, those are credit hours that are being paid for by the Excel and CTE grant. So we have students that are taking full advantage of those opportunities, tuition free. So that's really exciting that that's working for them and providing them large benefit. Relationship with Garden City Community College continues to grow and blossom and has been a super positive experience for our students. One final celebration, working on a celebration, we do have a current senior who is on track to not only earn a high school diploma from Holcomb High School this year, but will also earn an Associate of Art also in May this year.
That's cool. Yeah.
Very cool.
Any questions about any of those numbers or programs or? Very good, thank you.
What was your total number at the high school for this year?
Total enrollment count, last I looked was 305, but that was
305.
a little while ago. So.
We've been anywhere from 311, 315 down to 305 on. They add drops the number of kids that we have coming in, the number of kids that have dropped. So we've been steady with looking at the number of kids we brought in this semester compared to what we've lost. We've come down. So it's a matter of kids that we have coming in. But
And also we're maintaining the kids in the virtual school too, because those, if you recall, we would have lost them in the past. So
How many on the virtual school?
right now we don't we have to do in-person enrollment first before then we're allowed to enroll. But I don't know how many we technically we had several graduate from the virtual school this last year. It was a good option that we had all the way from one student that finally finished up in June. Was able to pick up his high school diploma in June to finish up, and one that we didn't think was going to make it, and went virtual second semester, had some family life things happen that felt like he needed to go virtual, and we thought, we don't know if you're going to make it or not, and ended up finishing, actually finished his degree up and got a diploma in June, so it was a kind of a cool success. Wouldn't have happened if we didn't have our virtual program.
And didn't we have, was it 11 or 15 kids last year?
Last year we had 11 kids
Yeah,
in,
yeah.
but we had 6 graduate.
Yeah, right.
So,
Good opportunity.
yep.
That's 56 kids short from last year,
Right now.
right now.
There's a week and a half. It's amazing how they come in. So.
It's a lot of money. Thank you. 200
Thanks,
grand.
guys.
What's that per kid?
All right, let's move to unfinished business and negotiations ratification.
Alrighty, if you'll recall, back in the summertime, the union had reached out asking if the board would consider reopening negotiations. You had come together on a 2-year deal 2 years ago, talking with the board, not very long before the board said, sure, we can look at that again. So made the offer of, instead of going from $572 per employee who's on the insurance to $600 per employee who's on the insurance, that fully covers level C. We have a quad plan, A, B, C, and D. So if a person wanted to go ahead and throw extra money out of their check to B or A, it's on them if they want to do that. It is pre-tax, so that's, they can do that. But the C it's a fine program that just the deductible is a little bit higher than A and B. As far as coverage goes, it's solid. 40, just the way this works, the negotiated agreement rules this because we can only have, given our size, one insurance group. And so it's a negotiated item. So in order to make this occur, both the teachers and then the board would have to ratify it. The teachers have ratified it. 40 people voted yes. They just have to offer it up for everybody to vote. So they've done their job. I recommend to the board that you ratify the negotiations as presented.
Matt, I'll move that we ratify the negotiations as presented.
Second.
Jill and Curtis. Been moved and seconded to ratify the negotiations as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Building needs assessment summary and budget response.
Okay, this is a 2-month, well, I've been talking to you for longer than 2 months about this, but moving forward now, it's a 2 months at the board meeting event that has to be in the minutes in such a way. This all came about a year ago, new law, a year ago. Basically, it boils down to this. The state law says the goal is every district is supposed to try to get, well, we always want to do the best we possibly can, but how long would it take, what do we have to do to get 100% of our students, in the tested students, if you will, in math and English, into levels 3 or 4? You have the results from last year. I put them before you. Those are percentages. So the way to read that is the bolded and shows our scores of levels 1 and 2, and you can do the math. If it says 48, that means you have 52 in levels 3 and 4. So that's a backwards math it if you want to. It shows our scores, and then it shows the state scores. So for example, ELA 3rd grade. This last year we had 48% of our students in levels 1 and 2, 1 or 2. The state of Kansas had 61% of their students in levels 1 or 2. So that's how you go about reading this thing. Okay. The goal is, once again, to get 100% of our students into levels 3 and 4. So what has to happen, as per new legislation from a year ago, is each building in the state of Kansas who receives accreditation had to do a building needs assessment. And so what that means is the principals and their building leadership teams dug in and looked at a series of questions of what are we facing? What do we have going on in our buildings themselves? So the buildings do that individually, and then they send them on to me, and then I take the central office, me in this regard, pull it together into a summation sheet and look for the commonalities. And those become the barriers. The barriers from getting 100% of our students to levels 3 or 4. You have a sheet entitled USD 363 Board of Education Budgetary Considerations 23-24, Summation of the Building Needs Assessment. So I'm coming from this form right here. You know how to read, so I'm not going to just read it to you, but I will do highlights for you. So across the district, all 4 buildings, you should have. Well, we will get you that. Sorry about that. Yep, if you would, please. Here, just make copies of this. So across the district, basically one of the issues has to do with the severe needs of our special populations. You know, we have, and this is not unique to Holcomb. We all have across the state of Kansas. Homelessness. I'm sorry.
It's in the packet.
It is. Let's see. I thought it was. Okay. Good. I'm glad you have that.
The information.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Information.
And so it's those are barriers that keep us from achieving the 100%. Other barriers would be up to this point we've really not had a totally aligned IPOS, individual plan of study approach. Now we're doing these things, and that's the silver lining behind all this is we are doing all this stuff. I don't have the sheet in front of me anymore, and so we look at those barriers, and from the barriers we say, okay, what could we do? What do we need to do budgetarily to address this? And so, you know, the team, we put our heads together, and one thing we thought we needed to do was we needed to get a specialized curriculum geared specifically for students who are tiers 2 and 3, which means they test lower. This is kind of confusing because you have levels and tiers. And so we went, this is the ESSER 3 money that we were talking about earlier on, utilized to purchase this program, specifically geared toward working with middle school and high school kids who are in tiers 2 and 3, with the hopes of putting them down to tier 1, which then means level 3 on the test. Yeah, they had it, Robin, in their packets, so you don't need it. Yeah, I just need my form back, please. Here's LinkedIn, yeah. Thank you. Okay, so that's one thing we have done. We've assigned Bree Tucker is now the secondary interventionist to work with the kids in tiers 2 and 3 at the middle and high school. We are continuing our specialized professional learning with MTSS, which is the multi-tiered system of supports. We started that a year ago, and we'll talk about that later on. Basically, it's an approach to dealing with each individual kid's needs versus just, you know, across the board, I hope you get it, learning. So those 3 things are in play. We're working those. We're heading down that path, believing that it should make an impact on this number, where our students end up on the state assessments. The third thing we have to do is the piece that I think goes from the ridiculous to the sublime. We're supposed to say how long it's going to take to get 100% of our students into levels 3 and 4. The real answer on that is infinity plus 1, because it's truly not probable. I guess it's possible, but it's not probable. There's no 100% of anything when you're dealing with statistics. But I'm turning in 7 to 9 years is how long it's going to take to get us there. This is the perfect mousetrap behind in my opinion. No one's said these words besides me. The privatization of education, the KPI, which is an arm of the Koch brothers, the Kansas Policy Institute, is driving this. And so they're going to utilize, when people put 7 to 9 years to have this happen, or whatever they put in there to have it happen, and it doesn't happen, then they're, you know, Katie bar the door as far as coming back on a district or on the state of Kansas and our educational opportunities. Now, so we have challenges before us, but I will tell you this, the state assessment is a data point. It's one data point. Other data points that we have, which it's a lagging indicator is what that is. You know, we've thrown in with FastBridge as a progress monitoring program, and we have set up goals because of the KISA goals. You know, X% of our kids will be at typical or aggressive, and then it graduates up over a 4-year period. Across the board, across the areas, across the district, we've met those. We've met them, and we will. I believe we will continue to do that. So that's a positive. It's not the state assessments, but it's a positive. I'm fighting for continually a growth measure to be what matters when it comes to accreditation. In my opinion, the state assessment as it's given now is a gotcha measure. And so it's a one-time test that you take. If they took it twice a year, okay, maybe that's a growth measure. But FastBridge is, and I think what we should be about is growth. So we will continue our work with MTSS. We have, in fact, Josh is the keynote speaker on Thursday with the entire staff because we're moving to the next level of sophistication within MTSS, utilization of meeting the needs of the kids. Intervention steps have been taken, dedicated time on school day. We've got the new interventionist and the specialized program. So, we are not turning a blind eye to this. We're doing what we can. What we're thinking we can to make this work along those lines. A continual more emphasis on standards being taught, and the principals engage with their building leadership teams and their faculties crunching data. It's one thing to gather data, it's another thing to analyze data, and yet it's another step to say, all right, so now what do we do about that? And that's where we are. It's just taking time to grow to where we're in that spot. We also have a new core curriculum in ELA, which we adopted last year, and this year we will be in the process of examining, in fact, we've already got the materials, examining math and looking, hopefully bringing you a recommendation to buy a new math curriculum, hopefully December, January, somewhere in there, to be implemented next year. So that's the information on this. I don't need a motion by any means on this today, but it'll be reflected in the minutes that we walked all the way through this, shared the data with you. The individual building needs assessments will be posted on the website. They have to be. So they will be. And the summation sheet will be as well. Then next month, when you have the budget hearing, this all has to be mentioned again. You have to at least reference it. Reference the building needs assessment summary. Before, during the hearing we can do that. And then to make the motion, it would be, I approve the budget, taking into account the budgetary adjustments that are recommendations that are being made. So that's it, Matt. Any questions for me?
So what's the oversight or reporting mechanisms back on this? I mean, you've identified possible budgetary responses.
Right.
You have to show that you've made progress or improvement towards meeting or addressing these within your budget.
They have not delineated that. They've not said that. To me, thinking individual, if we defined an issue and here's an idea to do it, and look, we're doing it, I think they would pass muster. But I will tell you, there are individual districts out there, in my mind's eye, everybody gets to run their own district how they want to run a district. They're not doing this in 2 months. They're doing it in 1 month. And so there's no way for the board to consider the presentation. Where you have the opportunity now to go honestly for a month and look this over. And so come back and say, yeah, that budget thing, that's fine, but what if we put some money over here? What if we bought turf for a football field? Maybe that would fix it. I'm joking.
Turf solves all problems.
Someone could say those words, though. Anyway, so there should be time for rumination. They've not said to us what will happen if. They did mention when I was up there talking to Craig, he said, yeah, a couple districts did it in 1 month. It'll be interesting to see how that plays. Meaning, will there be a legislative post-audit experience? Or will KPI do some sort of open records request, which they could do? So I don't think it'll go gentle into this good night. This is a battlefield. In the meantime, all we really care about is we want our students to grow. And we want to make sure our budget's legal and we're doing the best we can on stuff.
What an active utility.
I would hope for less government, Dr. Ruda, personally.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah.
All right. Let's move to the USD 363 Pandemic Learning Plan.
All I'm going to say is in order for us to keep getting our money, we have to approve this every 6 months. I recommend you approve the pandemic plan. It's the same one that you looked at in March. It's the same one you'll look at next March and the same one you'll look at next September. I recommend you approve it.
Make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Casey and Sean moved and seconded to approve the USD 363 Pandemic Learning Plan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, KASB policy recommendations, and this is the second read.
Yep. So every year, twice a year, KASB puts out a series of recommended policy adjustments and changes. Oftentimes, it's just kind of cleaning up language. Also, oftentimes, it's in response to legislative actions, and that's what we have again this year, this time around. One real important policy we are not looking at yet. It happens to be labeled JBCC because that's the whole thing about setting the capacity of how many kids we can have. I talked about this last month, but real quick again, I'll bring it up to you in October. So here's what we're thinking, and we have to look at the student-teacher ratio, expected enrollment, and what is legal, have how many kids in per room. And Garrett's gone and done all that math, working with, I thought, the fire marshal. Come to find out, it's not. It's the fire department. I thought the fire marshal controlled that kind of thing. But anyway, so now we know how many people we can have in this room. Okay, and then at the secondary level, it's all those things plus anticipated enrollment in individual programs. Okay, well, that's coming in October. Okay, so tonight's policies, basically, like I said, it streamlined the language and procedures. Got our things lined up with the federal government on some certain sorts of regulation changes. And then there's some new legislation. I'll mention those things to you. The AG closing of a building, it reflects new legislation dealing with closing a building. Basically, if you go into it and read it all, it's about the hearing process. How about going about the hearing? Drop down to IFCC, overnight accommodations. That's new. Legislative mandate saying, the language is straight from the law. It says if we have an overnight trip, people have to sleep in the rooms of their birth gender. And it's written in more biological terms than that, but that's what it is. The next one that's new is JGFGA, Administration of Emergency Opioid Antagonists. Basically, in case somebody has an overdose on an opioid, that we're covered by utilizing Narcan or one of the ways to save somebody's life. Other than, the other one that I really appreciate or makes me chuckle is the KK, disposable of district property. They revised that. Basically, that's where the legislature jumped in and said, if any district wants to sell a building, and it doesn't say attendance center, it says building, so it could be our transportation building, the state of Kansas has the first right of refusal. We have to offer it up to them. Say, do you want to buy it? And give them an opportunity. But now that's legislative, so we have to do this. We have to follow the law. So everything else just kind of streamlines things. So, Mr. Jones, I would recommend that the board accept the second reading of these policies as presented, knowing we'll have one more policy come October.
So moved.
Second. Ryan Ruda and Ryan Schreivogels moved and seconded to accept the second reading as proposed for KASB policy adjustments. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Substitute teacher handbook.
All right. Yes, it is. Final handbook. Final handbook. My goal next year to have all the handbooks to you in May. It just didn't happen this year. Last month, if you recall, we had, at the organizational meeting, reset the payment amount for subs to $150 for emergency subs, $160 for regular subs, $175 for long-term subs. This is per day. Then also you've got name changes and date changes. So it's pretty, in my opinion, up and down. It basically shows the rules and responsibilities and duties of subs. So I recommend you approve the substitute handbook, teacher handbook as presented.
So
I'll make
moved.
that motion.
Ryan Schreivogel
Yep.
and Jill. Moved and seconded to approve the substitute teacher handbook as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, new business, donations.
Yeah, we had a couple donations come in, one from Golden Plains for $350 and another from Harris Dental for $100. Donations to the district. I recommend the board accept the donations.
So moved.
Second.
Jill and Ryan Ruda. Moved and seconded to accept the donations to the district as presented. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, vehicle purchases.
All right, when we put this puppy to bed, we were moving forward wanting to buy 2 vehicles. Well, one of them got sold out from under us. So I'll talk about what I'm trying to get done tonight and what I'm planning to do next month, okay? The Suburban from Lewis Motors, you can step up here, Sam, if you want, got sold out from under us, so it's gone. So
Only me.
So the recommendation for tonight is to purchase the Transit van from Rusty Eck for $54,000. You've got a wrong number on your form. The real number is $54,715. On your sheet, it says $315. I know. So the recommendation is to get the transit van from Rusty Eck, 54,715. I was really pleased. Sam hadn't had a lot of luck of getting people to say, "I've got a vehicle to sell you." When we finally put out the bid request for bids, we got responses. Kind of exciting, to where we were ready to buy two, and then one got sold out from under us. So, I talked to Dale Brungard. That's the director of finance at the KSTE. I explained to him what happened. He said, "Yeah, it's pretty frustrating." I said, "Well, what can we do about this?" He said, "Well, you could pass a motion, have the board look at a motion. I'm not looking to do this tonight unless somebody just gets caught up in the moment and says, I want to do this." To where it gives the superintendent, approves the superintendent to spend X number of dollars on a vehicle. So you'd say $75,000 on a vehicle. Just make that motion. And then what would have to happen is we'd go out and start shopping. We're looking. And then when we find somebody, we'd run a real short bid process. But that way we wouldn't get caught between meetings, unless you guys just want to have a lot of special meetings to come together and buy vehicles.
Nope.
I doubt you wanted to do that. So, but that's next month's work, unless you want to take that on tonight. For tonight, my recommendation is make the purchase of a transit van from Rusty Eck for $54,715.
And that is, we'll have to order that. They don't have it on site, so we're looking at October, November.
But it'll be ours. It'll come.
That's better than getting sold out from underneath us.
Or next October.
So if we were to do a blanket recommendation up to,
Mm-hmm.
what is it that dollar amount wise?
I'd say 75. Yeah, because I was shocked these came in where they did.
Why don't you just order two of them from Rusty Eck at that price?
I'll check and see if we can. I don't
Get
think
two
we can
transit
though.
vans?
They quit making the Ford Transit vans. He said he can get one, but I didn't talk to him that much about it, but I'll definitely check and see if we can get two.
Well, and so the motion could be, you can give us permission to buy two. Because it's still bid process was done legally and we're cool with it.
The van itself is already built, but they got so many orders for the 10-passenger vans, they're gonna kind of remodel it, so to speak, and it matches the state codes, so we'll go with it. It's a 1-ton van actually, which is overkill, but
You can pull a stock trailer with it.
can't pull trailers with the vehicle.
So
Break the rules.
what you have right now, there's permutations here. If you want to make some adjustments here, recommending the purchase of a van. If someone says, "Well, no, let's go ahead and try to buy two of these at that price point," okay, we'll reach out. If we got the board approval on that, we can do that. If someone wants to say, let's just go ahead and do this other motion as well, that does provide us freedoms, in the middle of September, so we don't have to, or pick your month. We find a vehicle, we can go get it within like 3 days.
I think you need to have that latitude, especially with what you ran into. I think you need to have that latitude. I wouldn't be opposed to going with what Curtis is talking about, trying to get two. But I think there does need to be a separate motion. If two isn't available, then going up to 75.
That's how I would recommend you do it. If you go down that path, you make separate motions.
That would be great.
Okay.
Matt, I'll make the motion to purchase the van that's presented, and if we can get two, purchase two at the same price, or close to
Right.
the same price.
All separate.
Yeah, separate. It's
I'll
okay.
second that
So
motion.
run that one. Yeah.
Yep, okay. Jill and Ryan Schreibel. Moved and seconded to buy the passenger van from Rusty Eck with the possibility, if they can get us a second one, buying a second one. All those in favor say aye.
Hold on.
Aye.
I have a question. Is there
Oh.
different driving requirements with the passenger van from the Suburban?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. And these don't. Yeah. Good question. These do not require CDLs. It's just different kind of vehicle to drive.
That's fine. I just didn't want to get two that we're forced into having different
Yeah.
requirements.
Yep. Okay.
Sorry.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Now I need a motion on the allowing up to 75,000 for Dr. Myers to buy a Suburban if need be.
Or a vehicle.
Or a
75,000.
vehicle.
And that number, because I honestly was shocked when I saw 58.8 on this thing. I figured we were going to come in the 70s. So I was shocked. I mean, what a great price, but
Yeah.
not for us.
Too great, apparently.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. So I'd recommend you set it at 75.
Okay. So the motion's to give authority to Dr. Myers up to 75,000 for a separate vehicle.
So moved.
Second.
Ryan, Ruda, and Curtis moved and seconded to allow Dr. Myers up to 75,000 for a separate vehicle purchase. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, safe.
That's if we don't get
That's
the
if,
second.
yeah.
Right. Yeah, we're not just going to pell-mell on this. And also, just so you know, we have to, I already talked about it. You know, I've got the forms. I mean, we have to follow the bid process anyway. Our auditor would not be happy campers if we didn't follow, the law. So we will do that. It'll just be real fast. We'll be able to get it done. And
Law.
yeah, we would be a scofflaw. It's a real word, scofflaw.
Oh.
Look it up.
Always learn something new every night.
You're welcome.
All right, let's move to the safety committee.
All righty. If you recall, our workers' comp claims this last year, not that we had so many, but the numbers went up. Sean and Trent were here last month talking us through it all. And so we're always looking, we want to keep our people safe anyway. That's really what we want, be safe. And then they can, keep coming to work, right? But by having a better track record on this, we can, I hope, quickly lower our mod in the workers' comp, because it jumped by over $20,000. In reality, it jumped more than that, but then we bundled it and only jumped by 20. It's supposed to be 25 more. That's what it's supposed to be. So anyway, part of that, to show EMC that we are overtly trying to do something about this, we have dedicated time during the convocation for the classified staff to listen to, Trent is going to do a work safety presentation for them. We're kind of dividing the herd at that point because the other is MTSS stuff. We will ultimately have that same sort of professional learning for the instructional staff as well, but just not this week. So we're putting together a safety committee made up of, 8 or 9 people. 2 or 3 people in the room are on it, or more than that. And they are going to do a assessment of our facilities, just basically walk every place and say, from what it looks like here, the 12 things you guys probably ought to look into, type things. Well, it'll come back to the safety committee, who's going to meet quarterly, on a quarterly basis, and that safety committee, self-directing, will say, okay, we're going to deal with these 3. We think these are the 3 we need to deal with for the entire year. Or we're going to deal with these 3 this month and pick up something else next month, or whatever it is. And then we'll build professional learning opportunities around this, and just ongoing efforts to keep this forefront in front of people about be safe at work. So just letting you know this is coming, and it's good hard work, and we need to take it on to keep our people safe, but also lower the mod so as to get that insurance amount back to where it needs to be.
Just have the don't do that mod. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's move to delegate assembly representative.
All righty. Every year, the annual conference for KASB, they have the delegate assembly, and it's at the delegate assembly when your representative has the opportunity to cast a vote for UST 363. Well, in order for that to take place, a delegate representative needs to be appointed. So I recommend the board appoint the board president to serve as the delegate assembly representative at the KASB annual conference. All other board members should be named as alternates.
So moved.
Second.
Jill and Curtis moved and seconded to appoint the board president to serve as for the delegate assembly representative, and appoint all other board members as alternates. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
And also, before we go to the last thing here, that conference is November 10 through 12. We'd love to have a whole contingency of USD 363 board members go. It's in Wichita. To me, that matters because they so often have things in Kansas City, which I think is just distasteful as all get out. But when they move it to Wichita, I think that's Western Kansas. We need to support it and try to be there. It's good learning that takes place in there. It also checks the box of getting trained for negotiations, because every year we're supposed to get trained in negotiations, because they will offer at least one session on that. So if a person, just Robin and I'll be bugging you, hey, we're going to sign you up. Let us know, because rooms do go. And if you're not able to go and actually spend the night, I understand. You can drive up for the day if you'd like to. But as far as the board, the 363 would put you up. So
All right.
Look at your calendars, please.
So now we need executive session for 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
10 minutes. All right. How about we go into executive session for 10 minutes at 8:05? Dr. Myers, anybody else?
No.
With Dr. Myers.
So moved.
Second.
Jill and Sean moved and seconded to go into executive session at 8:05 for 10 minutes, including Dr. Myers. All those in favor say aye.
We might call in a principal just if you want to hear about somebody.
And a possible principal. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Okay. We are back in session. I need a motion to hire Mary Bright as a part-time accompanist, piano player.
So moved.
Second.
Ryan, Ruda, and Jill. Moved and seconded to hire Mary. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Motion to hire Karis Pinkney as a part-time custodian.
So moved.
Second.
Sean and Ryan Shrivogel. Been moved and seconded to hire Karis. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed. I need a motion to hire Sandra Reyes as a full-time cook.
So moved.
Second.
Ryan, Ruda, and Jill. Moved and seconded to hire Sandra. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? I need a motion to hire Kim Leonard as the student advocate for the middle school.
Second.
Sean and Jill. Moved and seconded to hire Kim. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? I need a motion to hire Cecilia Lucero as a full-time food service.
So moved.
Second.
Ryan Shrivogel and Jill. It's been moved and seconded to hire Cecilia. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion to hire Michelle Curiel as a full-time food service.
So moved.
Second.
Jill and Ryan Shrivogel. Moved and seconded to hire Michelle. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I need a motion to hire the supplementals as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Ryan Shrivogel and Jill. It's been moved and seconded to hire the supplementals as presented. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
Final just reminder, tomorrow's new teacher induction day. Love for you to show up, press the flesh and kiss babies. But if nothing else, lunch over at Wiley at 11:30. And we have both kinds, chicken and beef. Chicken and beef.
Chicken and beef.
Yeah, both kinds of music.
At noon?
11:30.
In the Wiley.
Wiley Gym. Yep.
Okay. All right. I need a motion to adjourn.
Yep.
Jill and Ryan Shrivogel. It's moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Hey, Matt. Meet Ryan Shrivogel. Meet